We'll pick up the melee segment of the 1140 turn, the Battle of Austerlitz. We have a few attacks going on in the east part of the field, so we'll start with the south around Telnitz here. You can see one attack right there as the French are going to hit those skirmishers. We're going to let the skirmishers absorb that attack because we want to try to preserve the cavalry behind them there. So we have 3 increments of French infantry led by General Friant against 2 increments of Grenzers who are in skirmish, and they rolled a very nice high number. And the French roll a rather poor number, but with the help of General Friant they were able to pass their check and go forward with their attack. So we have 1/3 of 13. In skirmish order, which makes for a very low number. And then we have 3/5 of 13. It's not a very good number, but we manage about a 2-to-1 attack. General has a +6 modifier. And that yields an increment loss and a morale check on the Austrians. So he rolls a fairly good number of 56, so that passes the check. So the Grenzers will stand where they are, having suffered another casualty. So the last bits of Kienmeyer's men are starting to melt away here. Then we'll move over to Austerlitz. See, we have 2 attacks going on here. We have some infantry lining up to smash into some Russian grenadiers there. And we also have a dragoon who is completing his charge against some other Russian grenadiers. So if we look at the French here, they've suffered 1 casualty, so that's 7 increments against 5 increments. So we'll run the pre-melee morale check against them. And oh, this is bad news for the French. The risk for the French here is that they fail pre-melee morale checks and have to retreat. And what happens? He failed the pre-melee morale check and has to retreat. So the Russians are going to like that for their turn. We have another attack here. 7 increments against, I believe, 4 increments. But Doktorov himself is leading that defense. Wow, again. A very high number for the Russians and a very low number for the French. So the French will fail yet another pre-melee morale check. So it's two very costly assaults by the French that failed. So our last will be this charge right here. The dragoons have run through some skirmishers right here, actually. They did manage to get 3 hexes in a row, so they will be 18. And the general adds 3 to the modifier against 3/5 of 12 disordered. I really should pay more attention to what I see. The 9 double for 18. So that is a easy 5-to-1 attack. And we inflict a disorder. So since they're already disordered, they will lose an increment. And retreat. And those grenadiers are streaming to the rear as fast as they can. And those dragoons will complete their charge and wind up exhausted. So those are the attacks in the south. Let's move up to the center. The French are very hard pressed in the center here, so there's not a lot of attacks this turn, but they did want to try to take out those guns right there. So we have guns managed to completely misfire in their fire phase, but they're all likely to stand. And the question is, will the French? Yeah, 13. They're on a morale level to boot. So that is another failure. So these are some poor outcomes for the French. That was even led by General Rapp himself. We can make that out. So it's always a bad thing when your troops won't fight for their generals. So that's going to leave a little gap in the French line. Oops, I put that on the wrong. That was the retreating man. See if the Russians will be able to exploit that in their turn. Now we move a little farther in the center. We see that Austrian cavalry battery on that little hill, and the French infantry battalion that's gotten around on its flank. So we will go ahead and melee them and see if they can stand. Oh boy, the French are rolling horribly. And that is a morale of 25. Upslope. So they do just manage, with all the advantages, to pass barely. But that'll make for a 5-to-1 attack. And we get a rout, thankfully, and we knock those guns out. And the 2nd of the 94th gets to occupy that little hill. Now in the north it's largely a beatdown. So we do have those charges we need to resolve. The dragoons were riding down some retreating infantry. So we have disordered 6/7 of 17. And we have the dragoons led by Walther himself, so a +4. That's a 2.5-to-1 attack. We roll a 36 for a disorder against disordered. I don't think the premier rules have the 2nd disorder means a rout. But I like that rule. The French cavalry will occupy the spot and wind up exhausted. Our next attack here sees more cavalry riding down some routed infantry. I'm going to assume that's 5-to-1. And I better calculate it. We rolled a really high number. So 3/5 of 9. Yep. So that is a surrender. So the Russian Kursky battalion is gone. The French end up exhausted. And one last assault here. Again, this is basically a riding down these kind of helpless dregs. And then we get a rout. And since there's only one increment left, that's the end of that battalion as well. So that's the purpose of those tiny little dragoon regiments to ride down already helpless formations. I have another infantry attack here. A couple of French battalions are going to try to dislodge that lone musketeer. So he is 3/7 of 15. Just less than half of that. At least he is in good fighting order. So we have 4 and 4, that's 8, 2, 3. But they are on a morale level, so, and their increments are missing, so they do fail their morale check. So they're going to run. And we'll move the 1st of the 17th into that hex to occupy. And last but not least, we're going to throw a couple of French light cavalry regiments against those Cossacks. Just trying to drive them out of the way, really. So that's a 14. 18 and 17, so that's about 2 to 1. 3 modifier for the French, and 4 modifier for the Cossacks. Cossacks can't retreat because they don't have enough of a movement differential. So it's a net -1 to the attack. So we roll a 34 minus, or 35 minus 1, 34, and that's the French absorb a casualty. So kind of minor outcome there. They'll push the readiness down on the Cossacks. That's about the only real side effect. I'll go ahead and use these markers temporarily to show that they are now tired. And those are our few melees. We'll go ahead and do our rally, rout, and recovery before moving on to the Russian half of the turn.